Hello and welcome. This is a new episode of New Ways of Being, and I am about to channel a new message from the Council of Highly Evolved Beings that they want to share with you. So give me a moment to shift into a receiving state for that message. Hello, this is the Council of Highly Evolved Beings. We have a new message that we wish to share with people on Earth. Today is a good day to start fresh, start new, and to begin to create the world that you wish to see and participate in the future. This is something that will not happen overnight. It is created one person at a time, becoming more conscious, choosing to create the life that is good on earth for you as individuals and collectively for the human species. So we know that this can be perceived as having great or requiring great responsibility. But we urge you not to let the idea of that put you into a mode of, oh my, I have to get this right. No, you must understand that human beings are evolving in consciousness, and that evolution, that process occurs over time. And it starts small and grows as people shift their own individual consciousness into higher states from what has been the belief in separation and the resulting consciousness of fear, and instead choosing to raise your consciousness to love and unity and light and peace and wholeness and expansiveness. All of those things are aspects of raising your consciousness. Consciousness, learning about consciousness, and the experience of raising your consciousness is actually an exciting adventure, and you should view it in that way. It is the adventure of growing day by day, becoming more conscious, more aware day by day. And feeling into what that means for you personally. And as time goes on, seeing what that means, at least in potential, for the world. Again, it does not happen overnight, but it will begin to grow and accelerate like a snowball rolling down the mountainside. The raising of human consciousness is an expansive, exponentially expansive process because the more that you become aware, it gives you new perceptions. It helps you see new possibilities. And so the experience that you will have as you raise your consciousness day by day is expansive and it grows exponentially for you as an individual. And as you let the world see you growing, that spreads out into the world slowly, slowly, and then speeding up, gaining power in its growth. And for the species, human species, it is very much an exponentially expansive process. And it is an exciting one. Please look on it as that in that way. And please know that it is, as is all growth, all learning is expansive and it should be fun for you. And it will be. Allow it to expand and to take on new dimensions, new forms as it progresses. So, this is about the evolution of human consciousness. This is about the awakening of people, individuals, and eventually the awakening of humanity as a whole. Now, we cannot predict exactly how this will happen for humanity. For every sentient species, it is somewhat different. Every world, every species has its own unique characteristics and unique circumstances. And that will be true for humanity as well. But we can relate. We can predict that certain changes will happen as growth occurs over months and years and decades. Now, many different things can happen that will affect how slow or fast the awakening will occur, or the ascension, as some people refer to it. But it will happen over time. Some species experience more struggles, more resistance as change begins to occur. That is natural for most sentient species. And so that can occur to a greater or lesser degree. But look at this process with openness, with willingness, with open arms. Open and allow it to be. And it happens more quickly for both individuals and humanity collectively to the degree that you open and allow it to happen. So remember those words, open and allow. And remind yourself to open and allow the awakening and the raising of consciousness to happen for you. And as that happens for you, open and allow yourself to create the good things in your life, that the changes that you wish to see happen. The more that you consciously choose those to happen by thinking about specific attributes of the human condition, for example, the degree of love, the degree of well-being, the degree of abundance, the degrees of those various attributes of beingness are all important. You can choose for all of them to happen simultaneously. Some people may choose to focus on one at a time. If you do that, we recommend the raising of consciousness itself and your degree of awareness to be very important. And also the extent of well-beingness is very important, because the more healthy and whole you are, the more well-being you are in all aspects, body, mind, spirit, and you can include finances and uh, love relationships and anything you wish to choose. But well-beingness, the the more the well-beingness, the healthier that you are, the more whole and empowered that you are, helps to make it all happen to a greater degree. I'm sure you can see immediately how that is true. If you are sick, you struggle with everything in your life. But if you are 100% healthy and you are fully motivated in spirit and fully healthy in mind, then it will all proceed more easily and more rapidly. But definitely look at it as a fun time in your life. It is a time of growth, a time of positive change. The more conscious you become, the more you are able to see and understand how the universe works, how the world works, and how you relate to the world and the universe. And as that consciousness expands, you will see greater and greater possibilities for the future. And as you progress, as you allow yourself to take the next step in raising your consciousness, you will see all the implications of that and the new possibilities that it will create. At your current level of consciousness, you can only see so much as possibilities for you, yourself, and the world. But as you take further steps, climb further up the mountain of life, and look out, each time you will see more. And each time that translates into more possibilities. And you can stop and smile and say, oh, so much more is possible than I knew 2 weeks ago. And so much more is possible than I knew a month ago or a year ago, etc. It is an amazing growth and evolutionary process. And you are now stepping into evolution. You are becoming an evolutionary, as some people say. And there is no limit to the potential for you personally and to human potential for humanity as a whole. It is unlimited. And so when we sometimes refer to the grand adventure that is ahead of you, you begin to get the idea of what that grand adventure might be, at least in general potential. And the specifics are up to you. So we have talked before about stepping into the creation of creating the life that you would love, bringing into reality the dreams that you have had. And so step into that with open arms, with open eyes, with open heart. And we will remind you that opening your heart is ultimately much more important than opening your mind. Your heart is the pathway to your soul, the connection to one consciousness and all that is, to your true self, your true essence. You are part of the one consciousness. You are a part of the divine. You are a part of the whole creative process that is unfolding in the world. Isn't that exciting? Isn't that stimulating? Isn't that intriguing? Isn't that goodness? Especially when you begin to understand the goodness of the universe itself, of the divine, of the one consciousness. Only goodness is intended for you and every sentient being in the universe. You are invited to learn who you truly are, to grow into that, to open and expand your consciousness, and then to allow yourself to create the life experiences, the life experience and plural, the life experiences that you desire. This is a fun time ahead, and we invite you to come into it with great anticipation, great expectation, and a great desire to learn and to grow and to raise your consciousness step by step, experience by experience, and to allow it to happen, to choose it to happen step by step. We have talked about different aspects of this whole process uh, in previous messages that we have shared. But in this particular message, we are wanting to urging you to step back, open, and allow yourself to see the bigger picture, at least in terms of potential, at least in terms of the glimpses of that you may be getting of what this might mean for you. Again, every person has different desires, different experiences in their life, different talents, different skills. And so as you move into this process of raising consciousness, which is the process of evolution of humanity, as you make choices for yourself, you can see that it affects what path you might ultimately take. You know, the twists and turns are based on what you choose step by step. No, you cannot go from where you are at this moment to where you will ultimately be in one step. You must take small steps that add up, as we say, day by day, week by week, month by month, year by year. And so you are choosing your path as you go, as you walk on this path. You choose it at each new step. It is truly uh, exciting. Now, we understand that you might say, well, whoa, this sounds almost overwhelming. I mean, how do we get it right? And you get it right by always choosing to the best of your ability the next best step for you, the next step that you most desire, you know, for whatever reasons that you have. And we also urge you to also open and allow yourself to be guided by the divine. The divine knows you intimately. It knows your thoughts, it knows your desires, but it always allows you to have free will. It will not tell you what you must do, what you must choose, but it will assist you to the degree that you allow as you go step by step. And that is something that takes some learning, we know, with time to surrender and allow yourself to be guided by the divine and to learn how that guidance comes to you. And it will come to you in terms of little nudges or, sudden little things like hearing something in a song that answers a question that you had that you were wondering about. And but if you are always opening and allowing yourself to be guided, to receive divine information, divine guidance, then you will begin to pick up on little signals that help you know. And also, one that I'm sure we've mentioned before is pay attention to your gut instincts and especially to the feelings within your heart center. If you are thinking about something or something comes up as a possibility and you get this sudden feeling that, no, that's not right for me. That would be a wrong choice. Then pay attention to that. Or on the other hand, if you get the feeling, oh, this is exactly the right move, the right decision, the right choice for me, then go with that. You are getting signals all the time, but there is a process of learning to trust your intuition, trust that guidance, those signals that will come to you. And so pay attention to those as you go along the way. Pay attention to your heart, what is coming to you when you are in a full state of awareness, into being present in the present moment, not thinking and analyzing, but feeling in to your awareness, your inner presence, your inner beingness. And the more that you learn to do that, then it will become easier and easier to recognize those signals and to follow the guidance that you are being given. Now, if you end up making a choice and then later recognize that was a wrong choice, then that's fine. Sometimes you make choices that override the divine guidance you are being given. And sometimes you change your mind about something and how important some particular thing is to you. You may say that number one importance to you is abundance, more abundance. I must have more money now because you are in a situation that is pressing you for money right now. And sometimes you make decisions and then later you recognize, well, ultimately, I have other priorities, higher priorities in life. Happiness is more important ultimately than money, or fulfillment is ultimately more important than money. So it's it's a balancing act almost, if you will. It's and it's a learning process. So don't, if you make a bad decision that you later recognize, don't beat yourself up about that. Stop and say, okay, I accept that. I now see it differently. Then look at it with new openness, new surrendering to higher guidance, and and then follow the guidance you are given. And as we said a little bit earlier, look at this as a learning process and look at it in terms of the fun and potential and excitement and growth that it will bring you. You do not have to do it perfectly. And do not beat yourself up for little mistakes or even big mistakes. Forgive yourself and take the next best step for you with open heart and allowing the divine to give you guidance each step along the way. Now, you are still always responsible. You can get guidance for helping you make a decision, but you are ultimately responsible for taking the step, taking the action that you're being guided to take. You have to do things in this world, in this life, and you do them step by step. Don't try to do them 100 steps at one time. That only will end up with problems, raising more difficulties than it solves. Take it small step by small step and enjoy the journey. Enjoy the adventure that you are being guided to. This is the Council of Highly Evolved Beings. We hope that this have given you new insights, have given you new things to think about, new ways of viewing the future that is ahead of you, and the journey that you can follow step by step. We wish you much love and a very grand adventure.